Hi, my name is Sandra, host of Boss Lady Live, where I come to you every Monday night with experts to discuss issues of crime and violence, love and relationships, health and wellness, various different topics that affect us right here in Jamaica. Please like and share and subscribe. Click on the notification bell to be advised when you're on. See you then.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome again to Boss Lady Live. It's Monday and it is Good News Monday. I like to bring you the information that matters. And this evening we want to talk about wealth creation, saving and investing in challenging times. Now, everybody's going to tell me, but we're in COVID and money, salary cut, and all the various different excuses. But I want to say, even during COVID, one cocoa, full basket. And we have to plan before, during, and after, because there is life after COVID-19. And we have to prepare. Without a plan, you plan to fail, right? So this evening we have two beautiful women. And we'll start with Anna Joy Tibby. She's with NCB Capital Markets. And Anna Joy Tibby is a wealth advisor. You hear that say? Wealth. Yes, we're talking about wealth creation. She is a wealth advisor at NCB Wealth Center at 124 Constant Spring Road. Her experience spans over 8 years within the financial industry, and she has contributed to various organizations in the areas of business development, wealth management, and sales in both Jamaica and the United States. She holds a BA in management, which is finance, from Wittenberg University, and is presently pursuing an MBA at the Mona School of Business. She has a passion for portfolio management and customer service excellence, which has propelled her into a successful career of building wealth and delighting clients simultaneously. No, I want to build wealth. Money is never too much. Welcome, Anna Joy. Welcome. And next, we have Miss Roxann Linton, and she's a Chief Executive Officer of First Heritage Cooperative Credit Union Limited. Now, my life started at credit union. When I was young, just start working, everybody advised me to join a credit union. So I joined the credit union and I joined the bank. And credit union has been very good to me, and so has the bank has been very good to me. So I had to invite both credit union and the banks to join us this evening. And Roxann, as the financial institution's Chief Executive Officer, Roxann Linton has held this position since January 2017. With the pace of change in the financial services industry, Roxann, a dynamic leader, has led the organization through transformation with a focus on member engagement and member solution strategies. As seasoned financial services professional, Roxann has worked with international financial institutions in progressively senior roles, locally, regionally, and internationally. She has extensive experience in various areas, including retail and commercial banking, compliance, and risk management. She is a CFA charter holder and a certified public accountant, and earned her bachelor and master's of science degrees in accounting from the University of the West Indies. Ms. Linton is a certified speaker, coach, and an experienced corporate executive who is passionate about coaching executives and directors in corporations and government entities to achieve holistic fulfillment and outstanding business outcomes. I like that. Roxann is passionate and committed to improving the lives of less fortunate women and children, and serves on the board of Junior Achievement of Jamaica and the Education Committee of the Women's Leadership Initiative. She is also the president of the Jamaica Sister Society, a charter and global women's leadership established by the World Council of Credit Unions. No, man, we have some heavy hitters here tonight, you know, and welcome, Roxann.
Welcome, thank you. Thanks for having me.
It is my pleasure to have you both. As you can see, they are very versed in their areas. Now, Miss Samuels don't carry no pion people to this program. She only carries the best. The persons who are on the ground, working in the field. This is not book knowledge. This is on the ground, in the field, knowing what they're doing, can advise you as best as possible. Now, I don't know one person who does not want to be wealthy. If anybody here doesn't want to be wealthy, please raise your hand. I am sure you are the anomaly. Now, we're going to start with Anna Joy. Now, but before we start with Anna Joy, we're going to give you a word from NCB.
It's time to take advantage of investment opportunities. With your NCB Online Access, you can open your investment account online in less than 10 minutes using Go IPO. Simply log in to Go IPO using your NCB Online banking credentials. Provide us with the required personal information, upload your proof of address. And that's it. You will instantly receive an email with your account information. No account opening deposit required. Investment opportunities are waiting for you. Visit goipo.jncb.com today.
Wonderful. So, Anna Joy, you're going to give us some information on NCB cap markets, because you know, saving in a regular savings account, no, not really getting you much, you know, outside of, you know, physical investment like a house. A car is not really an investment, but a house and stuff like that. We want to hear about investing our money, how we can go about it, and even with our I don't want to say small means.
No, we don't label. Yes, we don't label.
Because we're growing. So we start small and we grow. So just over to you.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here with you ladies tonight. So yes, at NCB Capital Markets, we are the wealth and investment arm of NCB. So we are connected to the financial group, right? So it's a family. And we invest in stocks. Being a part of NCB Capital Markets, it gives you the opportunity to invest in stocks, bonds, or mutual fund or unit trust products. So it gives you the opportunity to earn more than you would have in your savings, right? But savings is still an important part of the journey, you know, because you have to save, right? Accumulate, and then you'll have the funds to invest. And as you would have mentioned, Sandra, we don't want to label it as little bit of money, or you know, you don't want to put any labels on the money. You have to think big of your money, and you have to think
and
the amount of
your money.
Yes, speak it into your money, right? Speak it into being. So we're not labeling no little money or no pittance or no. Yes, we're shaking off brokenness, and we're coming out of that mentality, right? And what we're doing, we're trying to discipline ourselves to save. And then through that discipline now, we then have the funds to invest. So once we accumulate, we can have a goal of what you want to accumulate, right? And then after, say, you accumulate your first 50,000 or your first 100,000, any goal, you can set your own goal. You can look to now diversifying that saving now into an investment vehicle. And
when somebody hears stocks and bonds, them say, no, sir, it's where rich people buy stocks and bonds. So tell us about that, Anna Joy.
And I love that you played the Go IPO video, because investing in stocks has become so much easier on the different platforms that we have to invest in stocks. And it doesn't take a millionaire to invest in stocks, right? We just had the Fesco IPO that was 80 cents, right? 80 cents per stock. And a stock is the ownership in a company, right? So the company will list their prospectus, give you an idea of, what they're raising funds to invest in. And, once you read that prospectus, and I encourage everyone to read a prospectus, it is not a get rich quick scheme, right? So you have to read, yes, right? Get an understanding of what the company is doing with the money. And then you feel more comfortable now investing your hard-earned money, right, that you would have saved in that company. And as the company does well and the stock price increases, so does your money.
Right.
So that is just a general idea of a stock and also investing in an IPO.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to come back to you. So we're going over now to Roxann. And before we speak to Roxann, we'll have a little word from, hold on 1 second. Have a little word from FHC.
My friend Molly just got her partner draw of $100,000. As women, we like nice things, shoes, handbags, you name it. But we also love to save. I have encouraged Molly to open an interest-first deposit account at First Heritage Cooperative Credit Union. Where else can you get your interest at the beginning of your deposit with attractive interest payment? Only at FHC. Use your upfront interest payment to take a vacation, use as your emergency funds, stock your business, or for education purposes. You decide. Call us at First Heritage Cooperative Credit Union, 876-929-5142. Join the FHC family, as FHC is my place, your place, our place.
Lovely. Now, Roxann, credit union is normally known or bantered about as being for the small man, understanding the small man. So, and I know that where credit union started back in the day, now credit union is big people business. Credit union has grown, has improved, have expanded. So let's give us a little overview as to what are the benefits, some of the benefits, and what is available now at credit union.
Okay, sure, Sandra. Well, good evening, everyone, all your guests, and of course to my co-presenter, Anna Joy. For sure, our credit union movement has been in Jamaica for about 80 years, as you mentioned, Sandra. And I think it has grown from, just an institution that really just, collected deposits and loaned monies. Now you have larger entities like FHC and others who offer a wider array of services, but we still remain accessible. We still remain an organization that's not intimidating. It's a member-owned. We'll just remind everybody of what a credit union is in terms of a financial institution. It's a member-owned financial institution where our clients are our members. So the persons who access services from us and who we serve are actually owners of the institution. And so that in itself brings a level of intimacy. It brings a level of commitment to the institution, and it brings a level of determination to grow and expand how we're able to serve and satisfy our members. So of course, there, over those 80 years, there has been much evolution, and a credit union now remains a viable choice in the the financial services landscape, depending on what you're looking for as a customer. So that's just a little tidbit. So each person.
What are some of the products that credit union is offering now?
Okay, well, you'd have seen our interest first product. So just in terms of broad suite of products, we have our deposit type products that encourage savings. We have our loan products, but I think we're dealing with saving and investing today. So we're really looking at different categories of savings. So you can start out with having an account that's going to help you to do your transactions, and it's good to have an account at a financial institution. You start to create that history with a financial institution. We have
the credit bureau.
Exactly. And you start to build your financial records and history. So you need that. So you start out by having a transactional account where you can actually have a net savings in that, but then you can graduate. So we have some very interesting contract savings type product. You heard about Molly in the ad talking about her partner draw, which as Anna Joy was saying, how we accumulate monies. That is one product that we have, the hand-to-hand partner at FHC, where you can set a fixed amount that you want to save and accumulate over time. We also have a Christmas basket. That's another accumulating type of account. And we also have another contract savings account called our Golden Harvest account. So those are interesting products that you can use to accumulate your savings. Then if you want to start in light investments, you can start looking at your fixed deposits accounts, which run from 3 months to a year in terms of tenor. And then the beauty of FHC is that we also have an investment arm, maybe quarter the size of NCB, but nonetheless, it serves our members with more sophisticated investment options. They're able to do their bonds, they're able to do their equities and stuff. And we also have a pension account where the individual retirement account that facilitates persons who are not in a superannuation fund. Persons can join up with our investment company and access the ability to save for their retirement. So you can see that there's a full suite of offering, that whole spectrum that will help anyone listening. If you haven't started out yet, you can start by opening that account, and you'll progress along the continuum with us to be able to grow.
Right.
But I think one thing that I want to add, Sandra, is if it's one thing that the pandemic has taught us, a number of lessons, right? One, life is short, so let us start and do things now. And then you talked about wealth. But what is the true wealth? Isn't it our health? So many persons who were in the hospital with large amounts of financial resources still couldn't do it. So, preserving that health, but also starting to save early, and having those reserves. We learned that lesson quite well in COVID. So, this kind of session that you have here is so timely to assist us all to focus on some of those lessons and how we can start to activate our lives to learn from these lessons.
Well, what I can say, I can speak from my personal experience. My personal experience, if I didn't have my Bucktoe money, I would not, my doors would at least be closed temporarily. That is a fact. If I didn't have somewhere that I go to. So for me, I treat savings as an expense. So I have my little money, and it's not big money. So let me just be very clear, in case that people think that I am putting down any wagga. It's not a wagga. But you see that little $15,000 that I put down every month. It may not be 15. It could be 5. It could be 2. It could be 3. But you see, if that little lump sum there that I could have just run to, right?
Exactly.
It saved my business.
Absolutely.
It saved my business. That discipline. Because the truth is, once you get it in your hand, and most persons now get paid online.
Yes.
So what you do is just let them just draw it out and send it over to either FHC or over to cap market or but once you don't get it in your hand, chances are, and don't put it where you can go use the card and draw.
Exactly. Yes.
Right? And as Anna Joy said earlier, you can put the money, save to, let's say you have a goal of whether it's 50,000 or 100,000, and then a stock may come up. Because that's another thing. We have to be ready to take on opportunities.
Yes. Yes.
Because sometimes, well, most times, we don't know when these situations are coming up, when these companies are going to market, and then we find ourselves with zero cash, so we can't take up the opportunity to
and the pandemic created a lot of opportunity because some of the stock prices last year would have gone down some 40%, some 50%, and
which is a good time to buy.
Exactly. So it created an opportunity for you to buy, right? And you, even if you owned some stocks before, say you owned it at a higher price, you could even average down at that time in terms of averaging, meaning you buy it at you bought it at a higher price. It's not at a lower price. If you buy a little bit more, it would average down your average purchase cost, right? So you would still benefit in the long run. And so we have to think about challenging times. We have to look at the opportunities that exist in challenging times. And you're so right, Sandra. The $15,000 that you tuck away month after month, year after year, that you don't see, you're shocked when you go back and see that money accumulate over time. And as you said, it was able to save your business or, help your business in the challenging time. So
that lump sum, because the pandemic was so sudden, you didn't get a chance to say, okay, all right, so where are we going to get the money from? And because even if you were going to get some money from the bank, you still needed that breathing space. So you really need to have a little rainy day money put down. I say to my staff all the time, it is even dollar. That compounded savings, the $5 and the $5 and the $5. If you were to save $5 a day, you know how much money that would be at the end of the year, right? And then now you could just put everything together and then achieve your goals. People look at persons and say only certain people can buy homes. I want you to speak a little bit on that. Talk about how does one plan to achieve something major? Because we can all buy shoes and clothes and the small items. We can more than likely most of us can find the money because everybody giving 100% loan now for cars. I mean, you can choose the type of car. You can choose a not so expensive car, but a home. People see it as this thing that is out of their purview altogether. Let's speak a little bit about how you can amass, do your investments, and then now you can put that money aside to purchase, make a major purchase.
So maybe I'll take this and I'll go a little back, Sandra, because you spoke about, I like that term you had, that buck-toe money.
Yes.
And the fact that you had that buck-toe money came from certain behaviors that you engaged in. And those behaviors, when you look back, it links to your belief system. You believed that you should have reserves, right? So I really want to start to engage your listeners in kind of understanding what is your belief system around money. Do you think that everything you earn you should spend? Or do you think you should save and automatically save some of that money? So you have to get in touch, I think, firstly, just go within yourselves and understand, what is my belief system? How do I feel about money? Just ask yourself that question, and you'll get some of those answers. But why it is so important is that your beliefs define who you are. And so if you believe you should spend everything, yeah, bet your bottom dollar you're going to be spending. But if you believe that you should be saving, you believe that there should be a rainy day fund, an emergency fund, you are going to save. So in that same vein, somebody who has a goal around owning a home will have to accept that's, home ownership is for most persons the biggest investment that they make in their lives, right? Yes. And luckily we have with a very established mortgage companies and financial institutions like ourselves. We do some mortgages, but that wouldn't be our mainstay in terms of our business. But what we do and how we help a number of our members and prospective members to attain that goal of home ownership is through the savings. And so, as I mentioned, we have goal-oriented type products that you come in and you say to us, listen, I want to be able to purchase my home in 3 years, 5 years. And just based on the extent of your earnings and what kind of budget you can make in terms of planned and consistent savings, we will help to align you with a product that you can save, and the interest on that monies will help that money to compound, and you'll set that goal. We'll also help you to understand, if I want to purchase an $8 million home, I may have to look at, 10% or so for deposit and closing costs and stuff. And we do it in that kind of granular fashion so that persons can understand that if I stay on this path, I'm likely to achieve my goal, But I do believe it starts with that mindset. It starts with that belief system that you have around money and how you're going to organize yourself to achieve your financial goals.
And your talk about money too. Persons have a very bad habit of talking about a little bit of money.
Yes.
Little pebbles. No. If you keep on calling your money pebbles, it will never grow.
It will remain.
It will remain as pebbles. So you also have to change your self-talk. Another thing that I find is was very useful to me is my vision board. Now with a vision board, persons when they're looking to purchase something, they will say they can't afford it, not even knowing what it costs.
Exactly.
Not even knowing what it costs. I've seen that so many times. I can't buy the car there. How much is the car? I don't know, but we just know we can't afford it because it looks expensive. I don't get that.
That's why having a financial partner is so important.
Absolutely.
And NCB, we have the mortgage officers. You have, in addition to advisors, you have the mortgage officers who you can speak to. And as Roxann alluded to, plan, budget. How much do you need to put down every month so you can attain this?
What you think costs? Right? So yes. I must know. Right. So when I'm going to speak to you or Miss Linton, I can say, okay, I need $8 million in 2 years or in 1 year. This is how my situation. This is what I'm earning. This is what I have to pay for rent. This is or whatever, and this is what I have left. What I can do with this. You have to be working with the figures.
Yes. And you will realize once especially if you use your debit card for your purchases, which I always recommend using your debit and credit card so you can track your pattern of spending. Right? Because sometimes we feel that we can't afford certain things, But when you go through that statement and you realize how much Burger King, and how much of these other leakages, right, that
Yep.
takes away from the savings, you realize that the goal is not out of reach, not as out of reach as you would have thought. It just takes a little tweaking in order to achieve it.
And so the budget
Yes,
is essential.
Exactly.
The budget
Yes.
is essential, and sticking with that budget. So, understanding what your income is, and, you may have different sources of income. You may do your little hustle, you have your mainstay, but understanding all that you're earning and looking really detailed, and don't miss any of those expenses. And
Right.
savings should be one of those expenses. Paying yourself first. That's how we like to look at savings also. Should be a line item on that overall. It should be deliberate, and you should stick with it for it to be
We want to
successful.
talk a little bit about delayed gratification as well. This word that people really don't like, sacrifice. I remember when I was flying, when I was in the airline, and you had persons going to England and Dubai and all over. I was sitting down and I was matching out because my thing was I wanted to buy a house so that me and mommy could have a home of our own. So I couldn't go. As much as I wanted to do the London trips and the Paris trips and all of those trips, I really couldn't go because I had a goal. Based on what my mission was, I had a mission, I had a plan, and I had to sit down with pen and paper and
Max it out.
and
Yes.
ask for advice. Work with persons who are in the know, like Anna Joy and Roxann. Now, Roxann, you have a young lady here that I think you probably need to call, Tanisha James. She says she never heard of the investment arm to Miss Linton, and she's a customer.
Oh, okay. She's one of our members.
They have to reach out to Tanisha James.
Yes.
You know
And
that
I actually
investment arm at FH Steve.
Right. So my marketing executive is actually on Sandra, so she'll be looking at some of those comments. And but we're here to serve you. What's the member's name, Sandra?
Tanisha James.
Tanisha. We will reach out to you, Tanisha. Thanks for pointing that out.
Right. So Tanisha, you're here. You're gonna get a call.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit more now. So okay. So how do we start? Tell me how to start. I want to buy my home. Okay, I just start working. But some people don't think they need to say when I'm just start working.
Right.
Some people tend to think it's lick out time. Oh, I broke all of my life. I go to school. I live on bare minimum, so it's no time to bust out, buy all my brand name shoes, and buy all these things. Tell them to start, please.
So exactly, no, that's not the time to buy everything. You're going to treat yourself, of course, right? You're going to treat yourself every now and then, but it is the time to look for your investment accounts, look to open your investment accounts, your pension, ensuring you have a pension. That is another thing that we need to start early.
Yes.
60 seems very far away when you start working, and then the years just creep up. So it is important to start, and you can start with a bank account, right? All you need to open a bank account is an ID, TRN, your proof of address, your references, and your proof of income. It sounds like a lot, but it's really not that many.
I want to ask about the proof of address, because my mentee recently, because she's 19 and she's going to open her bank account. If she doesn't have proof of address, because nothing is in her name, what can she use for proof of address?
So she can actually mail something to herself at the post office.
Yes.
She can, even if it's an empty envelope, as long as it has the name, the postage stamp.
Yes, I did get that advice, but I want the public to know
and
that
a letter.
If you don't have a bill in your name, you can still have
So, and a letter from a JP, we have an address verification letter. You can collect that and you can use that as another form of proof of address. If you don't have the utility bill, the credit card bills, you could use those two forms. But really and truly, you can use the same KYC to open an account at the bank, at capital markets, and at NCB Insurance Agency. So we use the same KYC. So you're able to open your account with the NCB group easily.
And it has become easier since the other day, right? Changes have been made because persons were complaining that they can't get a bank account because they don't qualify in many of the areas they can't. Yada yada yada. So we now know that it is easy to open a bank account,
and you can start online. So you saw the Go IPO ad, right? So we actually piggyback on the bank's platform, right? So once you have a bank account, it is easier to go on the Go IPO and open a capital markets account. You can also, before that, you can open a bank account online as well. And you start the process online, but you still have to go in just to verify your records and so on. But you can set an appointment. So you do not have to wait in the long line and in the hot sun. You can easily set an appointment and go in to verify your account and have your account set up.
How much money do I need to open an account?
So they're varying accounts, but the main savings account or the main account, which is our Visa debit, usually our Midas account, that's what most persons know. It's now been converted to our Visa account. It is $100. Literally $100.
Yes,
$100. Yes, $100 Jamaican dollars. But of course, yes, I don't recommend anybody to open a bank account with $100, but you still want to try and start strong. But yes, $100 Jamaican dollars.
You have no excuse.
No excuse.
Bank account.
Yes.
And what is this? Is it the same for?
Let me correct myself. It is $2,000, but the minimum balance that can remain is $100. Yes.
Or 2,000.
Yes. Pastor, can I make that did sound a little low? But yes.
Roxann, is it the same for FHC?
Yeah, so I was wondering myself, Anna, because we have, when you're opening an account, you have to have a little skin in the game,
Yes.
And given that we are a member organization, there's a share amount of $2,500 that you have to start out with. And I think there's some other amounts that maybe gets it up to about 3,000, a little above 3,000 to start. But what it assures us is that that person is committed to that relationship where, they're an owner in that institution and really not just putting monies there, but really wanting now to work and go along that path to grow financially. And that's what we want with our members, that commitment to grow financially. And we're here to support that.
Well, I know personally, with both the banks and the credit union, well, with the credit union for sure, I know that when you borrow money, there's also a saving component,
right?
Which is good about the credit union. But also with both the bank and the credit union, once you have money in the bank or the credit union, and you need money in a hurry, you don't have to draw it out, right?
Exactly.
Again, so just talk a little bit about that, because sometimes when you draw it out, you know, put it back.
Exactly.
That's not putting it back. So that's
exactly
when you have your buck money, instead of drawing it out, you can borrow against it. Speak a little bit about that for me, both of you. So you guys start with you, and then I'll speak to Roxann.
So at NCB Capital Markets, we do have loan options as well that you can borrow against the money, right? So if you have any type of repurchase agreement or a unit trust fund, you're able to borrow against those funds in addition to your equities as well, your stocks. If you have a stock portfolio, you can borrow against that. And the turnaround time, 24 hours from signing, those funds will be in your account. And yes, you can leave your stocks, let them increase in value while you use your money, right? You leave your investments, let them continue to grow, and then you use the money to do whatever you're doing, and you'll still have your investments. You can choose 2 payment options. If you want to reinvest the money, you can do a capital markets margin, or if it's for other purposes, suppose you want to down pay on a house, you want to fix up your property, or just buy a car, anything like that, you can do what is called a cap loan. So you have 2 options there for borrowing at NCB Capital Markets.
Question, isn't the interest rate also lower when you borrow against your money?
So
borrowing, say I was to take a loan straight from the bank, because it's a secured loan.
Yes. So secured loans have lower interest rates. So off the top of my head, secured loans are generally in the region of 6 to 8%. Just a ballpark, you have to think about the tenures, the amount, and so on. But unsecured loans, you're looking at the teens. So right there, it makes sense to borrow against your secured assets than an unsecured loan because it's a more favorable interest rate.
And this is not to say you can't draw off your money now, but people, you and I both know, once you draw the money, it takes forever to put it back. We know it. So let us speak the truth, speak it straight. Once you draw off the money, it takes forever to put it back. So you want to manage having some money put down. And once you have the loan, you're going to pay the money monthly. So it's easier to borrow from yourself, call it that, right? At a lower interest rate, rather than drawing out the money, and then when bucktoe time come again down the road, you don't have anything in the bank.
And then sorry Roxann, but in certain situations too, sometimes when you come back, the value of your assets have increased to the point that was even higher than the loan. So there are situations where that does happen. Go over to you, Roxann.
Okay. So likewise, where our members want to retain their reserves, and they may have an emergency that they need some support with in terms of financing, they can borrow. And the classic product for credit union for that is the loan against shares. Your share account that you have, you can borrow against that. Save you enough time, right? And that's a quick turnaround. Yeah, yes. quick, easy. You can tell us, Sandra. Also, you can borrow against your other savings, and in a similar vein, those kinds of borrowings are cheaper than doing unsecured loans. So it does make sense. And as you said, sometimes you're not going to be able to reaccumulate those funds. And then, you become cash poor, which many times you don't want, because that brings a certain level of insecurity just around not having access to liquid funds, So I think that's also one of the strategies that is at play for persons as they build wealth.
Absolutely. Now, I want you to speak a little bit, because we, I can't only speak to Jamaicans, and I can only speak to some of the persons that I know. We don't tend to speak to our children about savings. We don't educate our children about money. So a lot of the children think that money grow on tree, and that mommy and dad is very rich, and that money just comes to like water, just because although we're struggling, we don't let our children know how hard it is to come by, and what mommy and daddy, or mommy alone, or daddy alone, have to do to make ends meet. When is it the right time to start speaking to young people about investment and savings?
So I don't have any children, but my parents my parents started us very, very young in terms of understanding that we have to work. Like this, it doesn't grow on trees, and you don't. Life just doesn't happen like this. You have to work, and having an entrepreneurial father, he always talk to us about time is money. And
Right.
you have to start doing things at a young age and pushing you to be disciplined about savings and the little lunch money, giving you tithes from that money. So I grew up also in a Christian family. So giving you tithes. So you learn the principles about money. So you save a 10% for your tithes. You save another 10% for something else. So from a very early age, you were taught that, listen, you don't get $100 and you just blow it on food and snacks and juice at school and so on. So we're always taught to be responsible. And I think that is one of the things I love now, even about my job, that from an early age, I really understood the power that really saving and being disciplined. So my parents used to have a miser, or the Jew of the family, the black Jew of the family. Because you just never know. I'm putting out something, right?
Of course.
I always have something to fall back on.
Yes.
And it really started from that age. I would say, prep school, just anytime you start handling lunch money. And I know these kids are going to school in a digital age where you don't really have the money. But, we used to get paper money and you put down and you have your little...
Yes, your mother, I remember my mother went down to my aunt, took me down to Victoria Mutual, and you remember when no, you wouldn't know.
No,
Roxann would know. You had that little book at Victoria Mutual, book. In the metal book, and you save it like money, and then you go to Victoria Mutual and you open it, and you take out the money and put in your bank account. Because it's very important. My mother's favorite word was I don't have it and no. So I was one of those people who used to save my lunch money, buy pound cloth, sew me own a blouse, sew me own a pants, that kind of thing. Because I know that if I want something, I have to buy it. And I'm the type of person that if I want something, I want it. So whatever it takes to get it, and I'm not thieving, and I'm not doing nothing illegal. So I know whatever it takes, I have to be disciplined about it. And I think children need to know. You get, I know chores are not big these days, but you get chores and you get a little pocket change.
A little coupons. The good grades. Every time you get a good grade, you get
what you want, money. Because one cocoa, whole basket.
So for us at FHC, recognizing that gap that you mentioned, that maybe some parents don't even have the knowledge around, maybe not as lucky as Anna Joy to have had parents to build that thrift. We have an account called a youth account, and youth, yes, for the young ones, but youth is actually an acronym that means Young Ones United in Thrifty Habits. So we have that account, and we actually have a program around it where our officers, pre-COVID, when we were able to actually do the physical visits, we have a schedule where we go to the primary schools right up to high schools to have that conversation around savings and around financial matters, from very early. And so, part of that routine is to go and collect the savings each month that they would have, they leave with the teacher and whatever, parts of the lunch money and all of that. And really, that part of our savings portfolio was significant, because we really did put a lot of work to encourage, and we had incentives for the teachers and the students to really build these savings habits.
And then also at NCB, we have the NCB Start account that you can start from 0 to 17. So you'll be able to, and that one you can start with $100. That one I know for sure, $100.
Okay, great.
And so so we
Trish is asking, what is the maximum age to start an account? Do you have a maximum age?
think it's a
No,
minimum
because the
age there.
parents can
Maximum, she
start
said.
from birth. We facilitate even account for babies.
No,
Where the
maximum.
parents
Maximum, she's saying. So I'm assuming that she's saying if someone is well up into their, I suppose, 90s, can they still start an account?
maximum. Okay.
Maximum, they said, what is the maximum age you can start? Oh, she meant minimum. She said she meant minimum.
Yeah, right. It would it would sound that way.
Yes.
Yeah, so from your baby, from a newborn, straight out,
The parent can just open.
Exactly.
And the child can take over the account at what?
At 17,
Sorry,
17
18.
years old. 17 for us at FAC.
Sorry.
And it will be the same for us as well. 17, 0 to 17.
Okay. So what are some of the are there any drawbacks to not saving? Well, I shouldn't say are there. What are some of the drawbacks of not saving in a timely manner? I know it's obvious.
The number one for me is just not attaining your goals within a specific timeline. That one is for sure the biggest one. Things don't just happen. I'm a firm believer in that.
Right.
You have to take the necessary steps. You have your plan. You have your plan of action. So it's not just a plan. So a goal without a plan is useless. So yes, I want to accomplish a house. Yes, I want to get these things. I can sit here and tell you every year I have that goal, But if I do nothing to attain it, if I don't have the plan or a strategy, right? And a viable strategy too, not a strategy that is too far out, that you can't really do the steps. So that for me is the biggest one. You just will not be able to accomplish your goals and your objectives within a timely manner. So you may be still able to get it, I'm sure there are many persons that I have worked with that, somebody else left money for them and it just so happened. But how often does that actually happen, right? So you can't wait on deadlift. You can't wait on this other person to die and, you get some insurance money or you get a house or, you have to start putting the plans in place from now because you're leaving your life up to chance at that point.
Absolutely.
And what happens when you don't plan, as Anna Joy is saying, your quality of life becomes impacted. That peace of mind that you want to benefit from, to know that you have, certain reserves in place. If something happens, I have a nest egg here to call on. Also, you're going to feel stuck, like there's you're making no progress in life. And so that quality of life, you feel higher levels of frustration, all of those things, the stress that comes with it.
Relationships go south because of money.
Money, yes.
Money.
Absolutely.
The challenges that come with the lack of proper financing or proper planning. And it's not that someone is not earning. Well, people can be earning $500,000
and still don't have money.
Don't serve that.
Still don't have that dollar.
What you earn, it's what you keep. And you also have to, not only do you have to have goals, but you have to prioritize where your goals are. It don't make sense to drive a BMW and you live in a rent house. Personally, I don't see the sense in that. Unless that's your...
Yes, because the house is an asset. The house is an asset. You're looking at it from that standpoint.
People will say that they want to live now, but understand that it is a choice that you're making. You may have to delay the house because you're now utilizing all of your liquidity to buy a very expensive car, which you can get further on down the road. Whereas the house is something that you really need to live into. Although some people feel that they can rent what they want, but nobody can tell you to move out.
But if those are your goals, then those are your goals. I've heard it before that, person say, I want to live in a rent house. I don't want to have the responsibility. I've heard that before. But understanding what that entails, as long as you understand and you are willing to give up the wealth that comes through home ownership, then that is your goal. I am not in a position to judge you, but understand what you are doing by giving up the asset to own the liability or the depreciating, what we call the depreciating assets, right?
Right.
So as long as you understand the trade-off that comes with that, then you make a conscious decision.
Right. White Snow says, I appreciate this live. Thank you all ladies for taking the time out to teach us strategic ways to build wealth and owning a house. I will definitely be going back to the drawing board. Absolutely. Because the truth is, whether you make a mistake, you can always start over today. It's never too late. And do not move without an advisor like a Roxann or Anna Joy. Because the truth is, many of us did not learn about money, did not learn about savings, did not worse. Even if we didn't know about savings, and we never learned about investing. I know I never knew about investing. I know about buy house, buy car. Never learned about buying stocks and bonds and those things. That conversation was never had in my house. And it's not to say anything against my mother, but that's not who she was. She was a nurse. She had her
thing. Taught you what she knew.
She buy her thing, she do her thing. My mother believed in cash. When I remember when I was opening business and I told her I was going to owe mommy, Lord, go borrow how much money? Back in those days, remember I started in 1994. Borrowing money was like a bad word. But the thing is, once you're borrowing the money to make more money, that's a different argument altogether. I'm not borrowing the money to blow it. Right? Although, if you want to go on a vacation, nothing is wrong with taking a little vacation and paying it back little. Nothing is wrong with that either. But just know that everything has to come with a plan. You have to plan. I remember distinctly when I wanted, myself and Andrea wanted to go to, I always wanted to go to FN's Music Festival. And this particular...
That's in New Orleans.
Yes, and you always get the excuse. Don't have enough money, don't have enough time, don't have enough friends. And I remember I was just recovering from breast cancer and I wanted to celebrate in a major way. And I said, I'm going. That was my first decision. It was a decision. I'm going. And then now I had to build out a framework as to how I'm going to get there. And funnily enough, that year they had a payment plan that we could have paid. Now, if I didn't research and I didn't check, then I wouldn't know. I would just sit down and say, I can't afford it. And that was not the case. I took the time, little, and I paid. And we went, and myself and Andrea had a blast. So it's really about planning and being very strategic about what you want, what your goals are, and how you're going to achieve it.
Absolutely. Sure. So that's why I love what your listener said, Sandra, going back to the drawing board.
Absolutely.
Whether it's the back of that envelope, whether it's your Excel spreadsheet, whatever, going back and really starting with what's your belief system around money? What are your goals? How do I treat money? How do I respond to having lump sums of money? How am I going to budget? All of those things, you need to go back to the drawing board and figure out and build that overall plan.
New Willie One says, generational wealth is created through property ownership. Absolutely.
Very, very true.
You have something to leave to your children, right? But so you have to plan. But I also believe too is that you don't just hand over to the children. The children need to know how it was achieved because they will blow it if they don't know how it come by. So that's another thing. Educate, educate, educate. Let them know exactly. Tanisha, Tanisha James says, Anna, I think I want you as my advisor. In all seriousness, I was promised. Oh no, I'm not going to ball it out. I'm going to give FHC the opportunity to redeem themselves.
Yes,
Tanisha,
they're gonna reach out to Tanisha.
they are going to reach out to you, Tanisha. I promise. They
Of
promise.
course.
I know they will. But we're not tying you down, right? But give them the opportunity, please.
Tanisha, give us the chance to remediate the relationship. We'll repair the relationship,
to
Tanisha.
mend, to mend the relationship. All goals, new said, all goals start with a habit. Saving regularly is a good habit to start. She said she's a customer to both.
Okay.
TV cap market. So this is a regular saver. I would I get yes, Penny says a regular saver. She says she's a customer of cap market and she's a customer of FHC. But FHC will be calling you, Penny.
Yes, Tanisha, you can expect to hear from us tomorrow.
Okay, so as we wrap, just give us 5. I like to wrap with 5 go-tos. Starting tomorrow, what is your advice, Anna Joy, to start saving and investing? And look, yes, it's challenging times, but to be honest, as long as I've known myself, the
Times are
times
challenging. Yep.
it may be a little bit more challenging now, but the truth is, it has always been a challenging time. And the thing is, it goes in waves. So you work with the wave, the ebbs and the flows. So when it is flowing, you work with the flow. When it is ebbing, you also work with that as well. So that's why you have to have your buck to money. So
there's no time like the present.
No time like the present. So starting tomorrow, Roxann and Anna Joy gonna give you they might overlap a 5 go-to things to do starting tomorrow morning.
All right.
Okay.
So starting tomorrow. Oh, you want to go ahead, Roxann?
No, go ahead, Anna Joy. No, sure.
So
go ahead.
starting tomorrow, I would say if you do not have a bank account, you open your bank account, right? You get your KYC, what we call KYC, your ID, your TRN, your proof of address. You get that together. Second, you create a budget that you will stick to every month. Divide your salary, your needs and your wants, right? And stick to your budget. You can do a percentage, right? You can say, all right, fine, 50% goes towards my bills, 30 to savings, 20 to leisure and a little, entertainment or so on that you want to do, right? You also look at your credit card statements. If you have a credit card, look at the amount of debt or how much interest you're paying on those credit cards. I am a big advocate for paying your credit cards. Do not pay interest. It is too high. Better you take a loan if you are carrying heavy credit card bills. Fourth point would be life insurance, critical illness, any type of protection plan. I would say if you do not have any, starting tomorrow, it is the same KYC that you will need to open most of these, right? Bank account, investment accounts, all of them are the same. And last but not least, if you do not have an investment account, we can't leave without saying, right? You can open your investment account. Again, the same documents, ID, your TRN, proof of address. If you do not have an investment account, open one tomorrow. Again, you can open it online. If you're an existing NCB client, you can open the account online through the Go IPO platform. If you are not, you can still open an investment account, because at the end of the day, all of those things are necessary. All of the things are necessary to creating wealth. And you start small, right? You start small. You may be able to take out a life insurance policy for $1 million right now. Then 2 years from now, you can up it. You can go in stages. So starting tomorrow, those would be my 5 key things to focus on.
Is it ever too late, and is a situation ever too dire to come out of?
Never. There's always a solution, especially in financial situations. And I'm a firm believer of constantly speaking life and speaking positive. And there's no situation too hard. And you just have to have a plan. You have to speak to somebody who understands the situation, and you have to get real with your advisor. So your advisors at the credit union, your advisors at capital markets, you have to tell them what is going on, right? So it may not be the time. There are times that I may have a client that says I have $5 million to invest. But let's not use such high. I have 500,000 to invest. And they say, boy, I have a credit card bill. So I say, hey, what's the credit card bill? I don't want all of that money if you have a credit card bill that is 42%, and I'm going to give you a portfolio that may have an average return of 10%. That is still not, going to work out for you, because you're still going to be carrying that debt. So we may look at other options, right? And then you'll be able to start. So you have to look at your wholesome picture. So whoever you're speaking to, I recommend give them a wholesome picture, so your financial solutions are actually solutions.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Roxann?
Okay, great. And Sandra, you did share with your guests that you have the best on, and I think we have a good tag team, because Anna Joy would have done a lot of the nuts and bolts. And I think what I will want to share is just a 5-step program that we at FAT we call the On Track program. And so I'm going to tell us what track means, as it helps to prepare us in these difficult times, whether to get back on track or to get on track. So the T in track stands for being true to yourself. And Anna Joy touched on it, giving your advisor the full picture, recognizing that yes, it's a difficult time now with the pandemic, but I'm gonna survive. I'm gonna overcome. Yes, I may have lost my job, but that job loss might be temporary. Yes, I'm apprehensive right now, but I'm going to get through this and I'll be fine. So being true to yourself is the first thing to kind of set that mental space for you to embark on a financial journey that's going to be consistent. All right, so the R now stands for resilience. And part of that resilience is you're going to set up that plan. You're going to organize yourself with the budget Anna J spoke about. That's going to help you to see, what is the course on which you're going to embark, and what's the course that's going to allow you to bounce back, that resilience. The A stands for action, because in finances, as we plan, we have to act. We have to step forward. Nothing is going to happen if we just sit there.
And that is the biggest misstep that most people, they don't take that step. They dream. They dream and they talk good, but they don't move. They don't move their feet.
Exactly. And so you need to call your advisor. You need to call one of us here. And, we will help you through that process, but you need to act. So tomorrow morning, all 45 of your listeners, Sandra, need to act. Make your choice. You'd have seen options here. There may be other options. Make your choice and act.
It's much more than 45, though, There's 45 here. You have on Facebook. You have on 2 platforms on Facebook.
Okay.
So all right, lovely. Quite a few. It's usually quite a few.
Lovely.
Yeah, man. Way over 100. Usually.
All right, great. All your listeners. So the T, yes. Just to recap, the T for staying true to yourself, the R for resilience, A for action, and now the C, recognizing that you are in control of your your activities. And so that consistency that we spoke about, maybe making that an automatic, a salary deduction type saving, where it comes out of your pay automatically. You sign up the forms, and so each month that amount is withdrawn, and so it goes to a savings account. How do you maintain that control that you don't, fall off the wagon again? Putting things in place to make that savings second nature, And then the K is around amassing the knowledge. How do I learn more about finances? Spoke a little bit about protection. We spoke a little bit about loans. How am I going to manage my emergency funds that I need to have for the rainy day, the buck-toe money, as you call it? What else can I learn around finances that's going to help just to protect me? So that On Track program, I think, provides that framework that anyone can use at any stage of your financial journey to help you commit to a consistent financial path. So just to recap, the T, staying true to yourself, get in touch with what you believe around money. And R, have that mindset around resilience, which is underpinned by your plan. A, take action. Action is important. C, remain in control. Set up those salary deductions, set up those automatic savings. And K, always build your financial knowledge. So that would be it. And the thing is, Sandra, you have to start now. Start now, yes. Start early. That's what it's about as it relates to savings and investments.
I wanted to touch two little things before we come off. One, I noticed that you were woman-centric in your bio. Is there a reason why you chose to target women where financial stability?
Right. Well, I mean, as we know, being women, we run our households. I mean, give a woman $1,000, she makes that into $5,000, just in terms of how she's able to, be thrifty, look for deals. She's also, the research that we see, more minded towards proper financial management in terms of being disciplined and stuff. So for sure, I mean, there are a lot of studies just in terms of, women heading households and how they're able
controlling wealth, women controlling wealth,
generate even greater wealth for that family.
Yes.
And so for me, with the women and the children and just the expansive impact they have in our families and our country, I think that's where I like to spend my time.
Another thing, Anna Joy, what I wanted to touch before we come off this program, because it's a as you know, in relationships, it's very challenging when both partners want to go two separate ways. One want to buy a house, one want to buy a BMW, one want to put on money, one want to spend. Is there if they come to you or an investment manager, can you steer them or help to steer them in on the path that would be, I don't want to say equal for both of us, never equal, but to be better able to maybe time manage and to just kind of organize better? Sure. Because I find that is a big challenge for a lot of families. Definitely. And it's, sure. And another thing is that it's not spoken about.
True.
Many times a man is having financial issues. He doesn't want to tell his wife because his wife might be having a meltdown. But no, I'm serious.
True. That is very true. That is very true. And when couples,
yes.
So when couples generally come to me, we have to look at the priorities. That is what I generally say. So what are your goals? What are his? We as advisors, they're sometimes financial therapists, right? So you have to have those conversations. And truth be told, husbands will tell you one thing and then the wives tell you another thing, and you have to ensure, you know, the confidentiality, but you have to straddle that middle ground. And it goes back to priorities and what is best for the family at this stage. And generally that third voice tends to be the voice of reason. So you don't take either side, but generally I say, you know, for where you are right now, what would be the best way and what value? It comes back to value, you know, because sometimes you want the image and you want the object, right? But when you can say this will give you this value and that will give you that value. Sometimes you say, boy, based on the value, you know, you can have a conversation based on value and what will be gained. How will the family benefit from a BMW versus a house? And we get to that level playing field. Can we accomplish this in this time? And then when we accomplish this, can we do this thereafter? Right? Can we switch gears thereafter? And it is possible. It is possible to have that conversation where you do come to a middle ground and you do decide shiny object syndrome. Somebody just right? But it does exist. It does exist, but you have to be that voice of reason and try to drive on value more than what the thing is or the object is. What is the value? And then thereafter, it is a more amicable, you know, decision or discussion, and you come to a solution after probably various, you know, various meetings and discussions.
Absolutely, because it may take many meetings. Well, ladies, I want to say thank you very much. I mean, everybody's asking for your digits, both of you. So can we please know where to find you, how to contact you? Wendell Wilson says would like some further investment advice too. So would like contact number to call Miss Tibby, NCB Cap Market, already NCB account holder as well, and have NCB Capital Market account. So they would like to know how to find you, Miss Tibby.
Can I post my information in the chat? Is that possible?
Yes, you can.
All right.
You can post it in the chat.
I'm just
and Roxann, you can do the same so that they will know where to find both of you. Come tomorrow morning. Don't put it off one more day. Not one more day. If it's even $500 you're putting down on a week, and you have to take it away from it. Please do not put it in the same account that is linked to the debit card. Because if it's linked to the debit card, you're going to draw it out. I know.
That is very true.
Right? So please, I'm asking that because you know, sometimes you see homeless people, it's not because they weren't working. True. It's because they did not put down anything for retirement, and so they are left homeless.
Yes, that is so true.
They're not mad.
And we don't understand the concept of inflation as well, because $100,000 10 years ago cannot buy what $100,000 can buy today. So the concept of money devaluing over time as well, understanding that. And there are books. I love the latte factor.
Yes.
And it talks about that one. If you
can also post that in the group so that people can read that when.
Sure, yeah, man. Yeah. And it talks about, you know, buying a latte every day. How much money you can save if you stop buying that one latte every day. And there are things that we do every day, and because it may look like a small amount, you know, you don't realize it adds up because it's so minuscule at a time. You know, 500 here, 500 there, it adds up. Definitely adds up.
Right. Okay. So we're done. Thank you so much. Joy. Thank you, Roxann. It has been, I tried to keep it tight because Anna Joy has to study, and I do respect your time, and I do appreciate the fact that you took the time out to join us tonight.
Only for you, Sandy. Only for you.
I know you'll get some business out of this, because the way you both ladies spoke with integrity and the knowledge that you have, one would only feel safe in coming to either of you. And Roxann, I'm really a big, I've always had a credit union account, always, because I like to borrow and still see money in my account at the end of the day. I was always a big one on that. I always, at all times, have a golden harvest account at all times. And the thing is, when it matures, you say, Lord, the money is sweet, right? So these are some of the things that, and it doesn't take a lot. But and then you take the money now and I put it on a big lump sum, whatever. And it always comes in handy somehow. It always comes in the nick of time. But I'm a big believer in saving because I don't have a godfather. I don't have anybody to give me anything. I work hard. And I have to put down a little money for a buck-toe moment or a rainy day. Because I have people who depend on me at work. So I have to make sure that I am and a lot of people have their children or husband or wife or whomever that depend on them, or even themselves, quality of life. You want to take a trip next year, or you're going to achieve the trip, So I just want to say thanks again.
My pleasure, Sandra.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
On YouTube and Facebook. Thank you so much. Please remember to like and subscribe. Subscribe. I know you join me every evening, but I have a lot of people still. I'm asking you, please, to help me to grow my page. So please subscribe. Don't only peep and come and get a little knowledge and gone again. Blessings, Marsha, and thanks again. Thank you, Wendell. Thank you, New Willie. Thank you, Tanisha. Thank you for all the persons who joined us. I don't see some of my regulars this evening, but maybe they are busy. So thank you so much, ladies. It was really, really a wealth of information as usual. And they will be calling, trust me. They will be calling. They will be calling because really and truly, it's time. It's time to save. It's time. It's time to invest, and a lot of investment opportunities are out there now. So you want to host out there building up. Right? And you want to be a part of all the action. So just remember that. One cocoa full basket. That's all I'm saying. And you don't have to start with $1 million. Start with $500, start with $2,000, start with $5,000, whatever you have, but start. Have a good evening. God bless you.
Take care. Bye, Anna Joy. Take care.
Bye, Sandy.
Bye. See you next week, folks. Same place, same time. Boss Lady Live comes to you 8 p.m. sharp every Monday with information that you need, that you want, and information that can help. I am working towards a better Jamaica, better lives for all of us, better lives for myself because I'm learning too, believe it or not. So see you. Have a wonderful week and take care.
It's time to take advantage of investment opportunities. With your NCB Online access, you can open your investment account online in less than 10 minutes using Go IPO. Simply log in to Go IPO using your NCB Online banking credentials. Provide us with the required personal information, upload your proof of address. And that's it. You will instantly receive an email with your account information. No account opening deposit required. Investment opportunities are waiting for you. Visit goipo.jncb.com today.
My friend Molly just got her partner draw of $100,000. As women, we like nice things, shoes, handbags, you name it. But we also love to save. I have encouraged Molly to open an interest-first deposit account at First Heritage Cooperative Credit Union. Where else can you get your interest at the beginning of your deposit with attractive interest payment? Only at FHC. Use your upfront interest payment to take a vacation, use as your emergency funds, stock your business, or for education purposes. You decide. Call us at First Heritage Cooperative Credit Union, 876-929-5142. Join the FHC family, as FHC is my place, your place, our place.